Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brine and Blight. This is an underwater revolution campaign using Cypher System brought to you by TricksyWizard. Woo! All of the beautiful, beautiful art and assets that you see here are created by Adam and Trout of the TricksyWizard duo. Thank you so much for being here. This is our premiere, very first episode. I would love to open up by introducing to you for the very first time everyone at our table. Let's start off with Jay. Can you tell us about who you are, where we can find you?
Hi, I'm Jay Justice. I'm a cosplayer as well as a game developer, writer, editor, all things. You can find me streaming right here on Twitch at That Jay Justice. I'm also That Jay Justice on all the other socials, working on costumes, agonizing over the next video game and comic book that I'm going to read or work on.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next, we have Kappa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christian, best known as Kappa in most online spaces. I'm a performer, producer, voice actor in the TTRPG space. I'm trying to branch out and rework a lot of my platforms. So right now, as much as a dumpster fire it is, the best place to find me is Twitter at the Kappa Chris, and you can find out where I am from there. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here.
Oh my god, it's so... Thank you. Next, we have Z.
Hey, I'm Z. I am a poet. You can find me on Twitter at ZachDevs. I'm also in the TTRPG space. I do this. I have maybe some other things on the cooker, so just follow me there and we'll see what's up. And if I get other social media.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And last but certainly not least, the swimmiest of the TricksyWizard duo, Trout.
How dare you, you absolute gem. Hi, my name's Trout. And that's my partner.
Hi, I'm Adam.
Yeah, and we make TricksyWizard comics. You can find us at TricksyWizard on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, trying to figure out what Mastodon's about. Yeah, we also have our website, TricksyWizard.com. There's a huge backlog of comics there. We do a lot of TTRPG art and actual play stuff, just kind of dipping our toes in, like tonight. And also every other Sunday, you can find me in a Ravenloft campaign on MFN Auto's channel, and it is a hoot.
Awesome. Thank you. Adam, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I am so excited to be running my very first Cypher System campaign, my very first actual play, and with the finest table. I'm so happy to be playing with all of you, and I'm really, really excited to to dive in. So, I suppose when we're all ready, I'd be happy to get started.
All right, here we go, everyone.
Far beneath the wind-tossed waves of the Levanine Sea, cradled in the heart of an ancient seafloor basin, surrounded by luminous coral growing in intricate concentric rings. Here we find Meribas, the envy of all the ocean, the illustrious capital of the aquatic kingdom of Sonaspar, a city rich in all those ways which matter to history, and now, in the modern age, a beacon of light at the bottom of the known world, ever awash in the glow of that most miraculous magical resource, corallite, raw arcana, extracted and refined from the uncanny otherworldly reefs which span the kingdom's breadth. But for all its splendor, for all the poetry and song that is waxed romantic upon the city's charms, there is a shadow hanging over Meribas, a thin film of darkness which saps just the smallest, almost imperceptible portion of light and color from the world with each passing moment, and which has seeped insidiously into the sand and stone and steel of the city until at last it has become as much a part of it as the people who swim its streets. It settled here long ago, with the coming of the first envoys from Valthur, that unmatched imperial superpower whose reach spans a continent and whose ambitions know no bounds. It grew darker with the construction of their Ostara complex, a floating city in its own right perched atop the waves, where imperial overseers play puppeteer from on high, manipulating the fates of countless souls to suit the whims of their distant monarch. And even now, if left unchecked, it will grow darker still, for the colonial appetites of Valthur have proven immune to treaty or contract, pact or pledge. So, ask anyone caught in the churn of the tides, scraping out a living in any of the city's districts, and they'll tell you the same. There's a shadow hanging over Marabas. It's been there for 49 years, 11 months, 29 days, but now, as the 50th year dawns, a few tiny motes of light stir themselves in the depths. We open on a busy central thoroughfare, one of many that circle the massive pillar of stone and glass that rises from central Marabas to the very surface of the sea. Here we find assembled a whole host of idling vehicles, from single-rider scuba submersibles to transit shuttles to full-size military personnel carriers. Further down the street, Imperial naval officers in full aquatic regalia mill about awaiting orders before commencing what will be a triumphal parade of singular proportions. A momentous occasion, the celebration of 50 years of friendship between the people of Sonaspar and the Valthuran Empire. But for our purposes, let's see ourselves down a back alley, and then winding through a gap between the crowded structures into another. Finally, far removed from the main promenade, under the latticed shadows of a grated floor above, we find a pair of silhouetted figures engaging in a clandestine meeting. Trout, do you want to tell us about your character?
Yeah, my character is a lizard folk named Bunk. They have a massive yellow sort of walking stick-like shape on their back. They carry sheathed a very long spear with a blue sort of ripped pennant attached to it, and it seems like it's made of pure seashell, kind of carved into a beautiful shape. They're short, probably about 4'8". They wear a big cowboy hat that they do have to keep grabbing so it doesn't float upward. And they're a straight shooter. They get to the point. They're not looking for subterfuge here. They're just looking to get what they need and hoping to help some people get by. And
Bunk.
They are mighty, mighty glad to see you.
Well, Bunk, you're currently in the presence of Cyril Dromus, a salmon shark fishfolk gadgeteer and renowned kleptomaniac.
Could I please have that first name again? Salmon?
Cyril.
Cyril, got it.
Cyril Dromus. He's a fishfolk, an anthropomorphic ichthoid, kind of a humanoid creature with the head of a salmon shark, kind of a snub-nosed, gnarly-toothed, kind of beady eyes sort of creature. He is wearing a sort of slightly oversized trench coat, which is caught up in the currents of the back alley here, as well as a pair of goggles over the sort of top of his head, just in front of the dorsal fin. He's kind of backed up against the foundations of one of the buildings here. And this is one of many on the spot sort of meeting places that Cyril would have made use of in your past dealings. As you approach, you see him kind of sniff a little bit, kind of squint his left eye.
Is that all I get? I brought you a present.
Okay, all right. You know, you could have spoken up. I mean, my eyes aren't what they used to be, and they didn't used to be great.
You knew me coming from across the district. How's it going, Cyril?
Bunk.
One and only.
Say it's been a pleasure doing business with you before, but I gotta say, when I heard that you had a deal to make, I got a little nervous. It's been kind of tight ever since what went down at Reactor Beta.
Well, I do want to pay credence to your poor, delicate nerves and disposition, but I'm not trading in knuckles. So if you want money, take your business elsewhere. You know that's not my move. But I think by the time our business is concluded, we'll both be smiling, or at least we'll both have the necessary means to continue on the road.
You know me, Bunk, I'm always smiling.
Shark jokes. Great. Let's get down to it.
All right. Okay.
Not that I don't enjoy your company, but Bunk pulls out a stopwatch and looks at it kind of intently. I'm on the deadline.
Oh, you got somewhere to be?
None of your business and never you mind. I need a correlite agitator.
Well, all business indeed. That is not exactly a small order. What makes you think I got it on me?
Because you wouldn't have agreed to meet me if you didn't think you could get me what I need. You've never once turned anyone down what can pay, and I can pay with something far more valuable than knuckles. So, spill it, where's the agitator? I got something to blow up.
Let's say I have one. First things first, on top of any other payment you got for me, you're gonna answer one question. What went down at Reactor Beta, was that you? Were you there?
That's the fun thing to remember about me, Cyril. I'm everywhere.
I'll take that as a maybe leaning face off. All right.
Look at the watch again. Take it how you want it. Agitator now, please. And I'll give you your treasure.
First things first, you show me what you got. Maybe kind of reveal the treasure.
Well, I ain't got it with me. But I know it's
so I have to provide for you, though?
No, but it's just not something tangible. But something you keep close to your heart. See, I know a thing or two about you too, Cyril. I know you got a brother in lockup in Repelia. I can't promise you I'm getting him out. Funny how they keep us in those little terrariums, isn't it? Like little zoo exhibits, little pieces of home in a skyscraper. Helping us pretend that we're being really rehabilitated, and they just throw us in there and throw away the key, huh? I can get you
myself not exactly inclined to respond to threats, Bunk.
It ain't a threat, Cyril. I can get you a pod number, and God willing and the creek don't rise, I can get you the guard rotation. What you do with it is up to you. But I want my goddamn correlite agitator now.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to make the first roll of Brine Blight.
Oh my
Don't
God.
goof it up, Trout.
Yes.
You've got this.
This is going to be a roll to persuade, intimidate. It doesn't matter. It's an intellect task.
Okay.
Now, normally, this would be a level 3 task, which in the rules of the Cypher System means that you would have to roll, as always, 3 times the number of the level of the task. So a level 3 task, you'd have to roll a d20, and the number on the die would have to be a 9 or higher. But you have an asset. Your asset is, well, the cell number and the guard rotation, should you choose to follow through. With the asset in hand, that lowers the difficulty of this task from level 3 down to level 2, which in turn lowers the target number from 9 to 6 on the die.
And with a twinkle in their eye and a flick of their bright blue tongue, the symbol of how very wanted Bunk is in this city, I will use a point of my effort to lower the difficulty one more time.
Incredible. To employ effort in the Cypher System means you're digging deep. It causes you to expend points from one of your 3 pools, which is not entirely unlike sacrificing part of your hit points. In order to expend a level of effort, you have to use 3 points from the pool that is related to the task. So this being an intellect task, you'd have to expend 3 points from your intellect pool. Now, you do have 1 edge in intellect, yes, as part of your character build. So that reduces the cost of that down to 2. Go ahead and remove 2 points from your intellect pool.
Can do, Buckaroo.
Go ahead and reduce the task from level 2 further down to level 1.
Perfect.
That means that the target number is only a 3.
Exactly. And I will put 1 effort to roll with a result of a success at a 17.
Fantastic.
Damn.
Cyril Dromus is not exactly true to his word here. He isn't always smiling. He's certainly not smiling now. He flips up the collar of that oversized trench coat, kind of just seems to recede as far into the shadow of it as possible before snapping back up to meet your gaze.
All right, okay. But I don't deal in the intangible, so you get every detail. You get it in writing. You get it to me immediately.
I will have my correlate agitator, and then I will do my utmost.
Take your goddamn gadget.
And he reaches into one of the many pockets on the inside of the trench coat and pulls out a small, what looks like a coil of alchemically treated gold wire, which is affixed to what looks like a very jury-rigged together, almost like a chunky microchip.
Want no paper clips?
It'll get the job done.
Uh-huh.
I expect to be repaid in kind.
Better get going. It's a big parade today. Want to get a good seat, huh?
Face off.
I will piss off.
And we will pull away from this exchange, Bunk having achieved their objective with marvelous aplomb. Meanwhile, overhead, suspended high above the city streets, situated even higher than the soaring tide scrapers of downtown Marabas, we find a domed structure affixed to the steep stone face of the oasis, that massive pillar of stone and the glass that marks the city center. Inside this luminous domed structure, there's a sprawling campus, awash with manufactured sunlight, complete with a thriving aquatic arboretum, a stately grand hall with attached library, and a state-of-the-art medical and ecological rehabilitation center. This is the Academy of Schoolmasters, a storied and ancient institution in Sonaspar, charged with the stewardship of the 5 reefs which dot the kingdom, and trusted as the utmost vigorous advocates of all the living things that reside therein. Of course, even this technological marvel of a campus is only a satellite. It's an administrative hub that's connected both literally and symbolically to the halls of political power in the kingdom. Here, among the dozens of merfolk ministers and their attendant scribes, we turn to see one schoolmaster in particular. Stella, could you describe your character for us?
You're muted.
Thank you. I am a pink-haired, goldfish-tailed merfolk. And you see that there are a number of pearls strewn around in my hair. I have a very elaborate starfish necklace, and I carry with me this very intricate staff. It appears to be made out of some kind of dense bone, and it's been carved down very carefully. And there are these strange veins that spider along the exterior of it that pulse with some kind of mysterious power. And as I'm gently swimming about the campus here, you see that my hair has this quality of just billowing around me, and there's a shimmer to my complexion, there's a brightness to my face. And I say, "Oh, hello there. Oh, hi." And I greet every single person that I pass by.
Well, Berengaria, today is, for all the pleasantries that you are dispensing, a bit of a scheduling nightmare. There's a crush of public appearances and ceremonial duties which threaten to squash what little time you have to actually tend to the business of a schoolmaster. But thankfully, in these last few hours before the commencement of the grand triumphal parade, you have secured some time to see to a patient in need of individual care. You find your charge slumped over rather dramatically inside a suspended orb of hyperoxygenated water, a sort of a hospital bed for seafloor wildlife. A small hard light display placard attached to this orb reads, Kiba hirsuta calvitium cancrorum, a yeti crab suffering from crab pattern baldness. Its elongated foreclaws, which would normally be replete with a mane of silky bristles, instead lay bare and spindly. And much to the poor thing's chagrin, it turns its eye stalks silently to regard you as you approach before limply flopping its claws in a sort of shrug.
Oh, my dear friend. Everything will be all right, I promise. Oh, I know. And I will gently blow bubble kisses towards it as I swim forward. And I pull a sea flower from my hair, because obviously I just have those. And I gently lay it on top of the balding crab. Are you doing all right today?
The creature lacks speech, and yet you find yourself capable of communicating in a deeper way than one might expect. Berengaria, go ahead and give me a roll here. This is going to be an intellect task, level 2.
Okay.
It is a task to mollify and comfort this poor afflicted beastie. Now, this technically would count as a pleasant social interaction.
Excellent. Well, that's really convenient because I have a skill in pleasant social interaction. So,
fantastic.
What does that do for me?
Being trained in the skill of pleasant social interactions, or any skill relevant to any task, takes the base level of difficulty for that task and lowers it by 1, reducing this task again from a level 2 all the way down to level 1, meaning that the number on the d20 need only be a 3 or higher for you to succeed.
Okay, I really hope I don't fail this.
Can you imagine?
Oh. Well, my little friend, I have had a very strange string of days this week, so anything's possible. I've rolled a 17.
Fantastic. Go ahead and describe for us here just like the resounding success with which you raised the spirits of this creature.
Well, I have been in this position for many years, so I know exactly what to do. I set up my clamshell briefcase right next to my dear friend here. I pop it open and a flurry of bubbles come rushing out. And in it, I pull out a very small silk cushion. I lay it down, I place the creature on top of the cushion, and then I give it a makeover.
Yeah! You sure do! Berengaria, what does this Yeti crab lacking its beautiful bristles look like after you're done with your makeover?
Oh, I have taken a few spindles that, are responsibly sourced, that have fallen off of various urchins, naturally, and I have very delicately, in my, many hours of crafting and just enjoying some tea, I've turned them into fake eyelashes, and I've applied them to this crab. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of blush from powdered coral, of course, and I've put a very lovely bow on it.
And you have taken what could have been a very despondent afternoon for this creature, and somehow, through your innate connection with wildlife. You have, for at least a moment, instilled in this completely not any more sentient than any other Yeti crab, a sense of pride in its appearance. Able to judge its own aesthetics for a moment, it is very pleased and very much better at ease than before.
One thing to keep in mind is with everything that happens with us comes an opportunity. If you didn't come here to meet me, you would have never discovered that you look so good in red.
Suddenly, in a burst of bubbles and anxiety, your personal assistant Euphrosyne jets your way from the main hall, clutching, as always, her clipboard-like tablet tight to her chest. She's a goldfish folk of particularly skittish disposition. She has these bulbous spherical eyes on the sides of her face that always seem to be darting in like 8 different directions. And as she closes the gap very quickly, startling the poor little crab in its orb of hyperoxygenated water, she immediately kind of like stumbles over herself in the water and then floating up at eye level with you. Continues,
Oh no!
The schoolmaster Berengaria, there you are. Oh, I've been during the last hour searching for you. Why are you in crustacean ops? This isn't anywhere on your schedule.
Oh, well, I followed a sea cucumber down here, and I met them in the lobby, and they were friends with the turtle monkey. I don't know how I got here, actually, but you found me. That's all that matters.
Yes, well, I'm terribly sorry for my outburst, Miss. It's just I meant to give you ample notice, but now there's simply no time to waste. You've been summoned to the office of the dean.
Oh.
Apparently you're being considered for some kind of special assignment.
Oh. Is this a good thing?
I certainly hope so, because I don't know if my heart could take it otherwise.
Oh, well, in that case, it's absolutely a good thing.
Oh, thank goodness. We must be off. He is expecting you.
Yeah, of course. Expediently. One moment. I go about buttoning up my clamshell briefcase and I hoist it up. All right, I'm ready.
Right. With all due haste, here we go.
And
Swim,
you
swim, swim,
and
swim, swim,
Euphrosyne
swim, swim, swim,
swim. You make your way inside the Academy's Grand Hall, and up through the sunlit central column, the sort of hollow shaft on the inside of the structure, about which are situated these layered mezzanines where the schoolmasters assembled here at the Capitol make their offices in these little alcoves. And perched atop the rest, just resplendent in the artificial sunlight of the campus, is the office of Anastas Coy, Dean of the Academy and member of the Royal Council of Sonaspar. In your experience, an affable man, a short, dappled orange fishfolk with an agreeable disposition, and a ceremonial cloak that he always wears, which is half again as long as he is. Berengaria, as you approach, can you give me another roll here? This is going to be a perception check of sorts. We're going to rank this another intellect task. This will be level 2 at base. So to see how perceptive you are here, that's
All right. Level 2. Yeah. Oh, no. I rolled a 5. Oh, no. What happened to Zoom? It is now an official stream.
We have. Yeah, we got to break it in.
I rolled a 5. The target number was 6.
That is perfectly tragic. Well, I will say you find that the dean's door is shut fast. His interior window is ajar. And from the sound of it, he's engaged in a conversation with someone. Unfortunately, you can't quite tell who it is or what it's about. Eventually, it seems like the conversation comes to a close, and you can enter at your leisure.
Oh, knock, knock. I say that out loud as I knock.
Berengaria, fantastic. Your timing is impeccable. Come in.
Oh, swim. Yes?
Entering the office here, you find it. It is, as are many of the more sort of upscale architectural designs of sort of Upper Marabas. It's taken some design cues from sort of Valthuran topsider or surface world design. So it does have a look trying to kind of mimic or resemble the sort of like dark woods of an academic setting. You see him seated in basically like an open clamshell sort of like chair, which is completely unnecessary for sea dwelling creatures, but it's a matter of comfort. And as you enter, he's like,
yes. So good of you to join me. Berengaria, do you know why I've called you in here today?
Yes. An urgent matter.
Technically correct. About that. Well, I've actually just been given clearance to inform you of some additional information about today's celebrations. As it happens, it is not merely the 50th anniversary of our alliance with Valthur that we'll be marking. There's also the matter of the successful conclusion of talks with Valthuran officials regarding Painter's Wreath.
All right. Well, you know me. I love to help.
it does. I'm not even going to ask for a roll here. You can see there's a bit of a strained smile on his face, too.
I also have a very strained smile on my face. The moment anything Valthuran has been brought up, my spine has gone rigid.
He kind of slumps backwards a little bit.
Well, the construction of the drilling rig and the refinery may be inevitable, and yes, that does mean an entrenched naval presence in the reef going forward, but I am proud to say I rather deftly negotiated and I secured full transparency and oversight by the Academy. We're going to have a constant presence on site as ecological supervisors, and I have actually put your name forward as an ideal candidate.
Oh, thank you so much for thinking of me. I will do my very best. I think.
Can you give me a roll to try and mask your feelings on this real quick? Because it seems like you may actually not be all that enthusiastic. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, how is Berengaria at dissembling or telling half-truths or
I've never
lying?
lied in my life, except after I met a certain someone.
Ominous. Could you go ahead, Ben? I'm going to say this would normally be a fairly mundane task of trying to just kind of go along to get along. So it would normally be a level 2 intellect task here, but given that you're not exactly well-versed in this, I'm going to give you a bit of a hindrance and take that up to a level 3.
Oh.
That makes the target a 9 on the die.
I have a question. So I do have a level of effort of 1. Does that mean it's only 1 effort that I can use for the entire session, or is it only for this scene?
You can actually use effort with a level 1 effort. That means you can use effort once per roll, so per task. You are not limited in using effort any number of times per like session or in-game day or encounter or anything like that. It's the number of levels of effort you can apply in that score there applies only to the how much you can apply per task or attempt at doing something. You're still limited by the number of points you have to take from your pool, though.
Yes, I will expend a level of effort here because I know how very important this is to my assistant, and I've got to play my part in this, even though I
All
might
right.
not like who I might have to deal with.
That's going to go ahead and lower the difficulty back down to 2. So again, 6 on the die will do it.
Oh. Right, we have to do so I enter 3, effort to roll 1. There we go. Oh no! I rolled a 1!
no!
Oh my god!
Oh, an unnatural 1. Okay. Yeah, this seems about right.
I turn my head and I make a sorry. I must have eaten something strange.
Yeah, the smile never reaches your eyes here, and you can see that whatever facade that the dean was wearing also kind of slips at this point as he kind of swims over his desk to kind of close the gap a bit, and kind of at a closer distance, he just fins together.
I'm sorry, Berengaria. I truly am. But when it came down to it, it was either going to be me rubber stamping their plans, or it was going to be somebody else. I mean, at least I fought for this much. I mean, who knows what would happen if they ousted me in favor of someone less principled? No, this was the only way. It was the best way. And with things being as dangerous as they've been in the city, I mean, we had that attack on the reactor. We've got dissidents who are up to all manner of chaos. I feel like maybe it would be better for you to entrench yourself back, on site and do good there.
All right. I suppose I can't really say no anyway.
We can discuss the finer details later, but if we don't get a move on, we're going to be late for the accord ceremony at Grand Central. Oh, gosh, where's my scribe? We should get going.
Oh, all right. I heft up my clamshell briefcase. I'm ready.
With that, you and the dean assemble with the other schoolmasters who are to make an appearance at the grand ceremony at the commencement of the parade. And next, we turn our attention away from the vaulting city skyline and inward, instead towards the labyrinthine complex of administrative offices, engineering hubs, and research stations which make up the interior of the Oasis Pillar. Here, the clockwork mechanisms of the Sonaspari government tick ever away, powered by the feverish labor of hundreds of professionals and overseen always by the watchful eyes of the Valthuran occupators of the Valthuran occupation, let's say that. So we weave our way here through the complex of installations. We arrive at last at the laboratories for Coralite research and development. And this is a windowless, fluorescently lit, hermetically sealed aquatic lab staffed by all manner of specialists in the fields relevant to the extraction, refinement, and the technological implementation of Coralite, that magical miracle fuel and energy source, the lifeblood of modern Marabas TM. It's only midway through the workday here, but already many of the researchers seem to be getting ready to leave. An early end has been called to the day shift, given the sort of imminent triumphal parade celebrating that half century of friendship with the Valthuran Empire. But one employee in particular seems as yet still engrossed in their work. Jay, could you tell us about your character?
Well, my character's name is Bahari. She is a manta ray merfolk, so not a stingray. She has no stinger. She does not physically sting, at least. And she is a bit nervous at times because she's constantly fighting a struggle between wanting to do what she thinks is best, wanting to do what her family would approve of, and wanting to stay out of trouble. But sometimes doing the right thing causes a little bit of trouble. Oh, she has brown skin, and she has some skin discoloration on her face. She's wearing a green head wrap, and she's wearing a very long, like African print style dress with green and purple and blue. And she tends to have a style that is inspired by her family's cultural beliefs, but is also something that allows like full movement, full access to gills. It's not like she's trying not to breathe. She has her reasons for wearing the clothes that she does, but she keeps to herself at work because the things that she's experienced in the past have had a bit of an influence on her reputation. So she finds it a little hard to make friends if they already think they know her from what they've heard.
Yeah, office politics being what they are, how would you say Bahari kind of handles her day-to-day at the labs?
Well, she tends to focus on what the overall goal is and make sure that she's meeting every expectation while also devoting as much time as possible to personal projects that, if they come to fruition, will still be seen as like approved by her superiors, but you can never let it look like that's what you're doing. So there's always another tab open beneath the tab that the employer can see.
It's a fine line, yeah.
Yes,
So
exactly.
speaking of personal projects, Bahari, you've received a rather mysterious parcel at your workstation today. It arrived in an unmarked, opaque, sort of vacuum-sealed canister. It was delivered unceremoniously with the day's sort of just daily office mail. But inside, you found a curious specimen. It is a sample of coral, a brittle branch of it. It's been drained of all its color, and it has now this rough, ragged texture and appearance. And with it, a small note inscribed on the inside of that canister, which reads, Provenance, 9.2 kilometers due southwest from Marabas city center. And then underneath, kind of scrawled a little more freely, one word with a question mark. Acceleration. Bahari, I'm going to ask you to make a roll here. A little bit of intuition, a little bit of investigation, a little bit of good old science. This is going to be an intellect task, base level 2.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. And on a 17.
Yeah.
That's a great success. Now, fun thing about the Cypher system, 17 and above on the die does have additional effects, specifically in combat. But I also like to, give you a little bit of a flourish here too, whenever you score a number that high on the die here. So let's put it this way. Bahari, immediately, you pick up on pretty much every thread of every possible implication of what this could mean, although you still have no idea where or from whom it could have come. But this coral fragment seems to be suffering from the same blight that was first recorded far south in the Backbone Reef some years ago. Now, the effects of that it was like an enervating ailment. It left these vast stretches of that reef just thoroughly blanched, just this dead, ghostly, pallid graveyard of a place. Now, you know that if the details of the note scrawled on the inside of this canister are to be believed, then the same effects have begun to manifest in the reefs immediately surrounding the capital city itself. As for the further implications of that, I think I'll leave that up to Bahari herself, but what is her initial takeaway?
If this sample came from where this note implies that it came from, there's something bigger happening here that no one knows about.
Now, as far as the opinions of the rest of your office, as always, it's pretty easy to eavesdrop. And outside your personal experiment cubicle here, there are several other sort of merfolk and anthropomorphic fish folk that are kind of making ready to leave for the day. And you do overhear one conversation in particular, as you often do here in these close quarters. It reminds you just what's going on today, that you know, just in case anyone had any like a second's piece to forget about it. One of them just kind of pipes up and asks, "So, you going to the parade? Feel like celebrating 50 years of friendship?" And the other one says, nah, I think I'll stick around. Actually, I might pull a double. I mean, productivity review's coming up, and I'm this close to the top bracket. You know, I just have to edge out Deborah in photosynthetics. Yeah, I hear you. Honestly, I might clock out now just to beat the rush. The C-Tram is an absolute disaster already, with the fucking topsiders coming down to gawk at us. After that shit show at Reactor Beta the other day, you can't go 3 stops without a security checkpoint. I know. It's a mess. I hope they catch the bastards behind that. Made my commute a nightmare. Bahari.
No, I wouldn't know anything about that. No.
No, she certainly wouldn't. What are Bahari's plans regarding the grand ceremonial half-centennial parade?
That sounds like a lot of people, very tightly crowded, and I don't want to be in the middle of a big school of fish, so I'm just gonna swim somewhere else.
Well, the good news is your office building here, while the lab doesn't have any sort of windows, you're not too far a swim away from a place where you could do the old watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade from like a 15th floor office or something like that. You can have access to, you know, if you wanted to stick around. But
sometimes people watching can be fun.
But otherwise, I think, yeah, she would know now would be the time to vacate.
What do I do with this sample? Oh. Well, this is why I like dresses that are just one big pocket. I'm just gonna slide this in here.
And yes, stowing safely in your giant pocket dress. Yep. You can reseal that, and you have, again, for later personal study, this strange artifact. Well, once again, we are going to just quickly wend our way back out of the oasis for a moment here. We're going to glide further away from the bustle of the crowded city center. We're going to go for a moment all the way out to the northwest quarter of Marabas, the derelict outskirts of the Dorsal District. This would be a place that is familiar, maybe not in a good way, but familiar to pretty much everyone we've met so far. But here, where the ceaseless exhaust from the Metropolitan Coralite Refinery renders the local waters thick with haze, every home and place of business here is forced to maintain a full-scale filtration system, just usually roof-mounted, just constantly paddling away like a big fish tank just to keep the grit out of their gills when they sleep. And in the shadow of the refinery's 4 primary reactors, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, the better part of the city's working class kind of scrape by as best they can here, with the preponderance of them finding stable employment only in that same refinery. In the aftermath of a recent incident at the Beta reactor building, there's been a makeshift field hospital of sorts that's been set up, a kind of triage station, which is in the sort of shadow of the reactor here. And it is in the immediate vicinity of a local establishment, a bar, a tavern called The Lonely Light. Now, the proprietor of that establishment, Rhoda, a little bit of a crotchety chip on her shoulder, older merfolk lady, good old dame. She's not exactly hosting or directly tending to anyone, but is providing sustenance and any refreshments that are necessary. But someone else that we find here, Z, can you describe your character for us?
Yes, I can. So we see Calliope. Calliope is a bit of a fish out of water, so to speak. They are a fully mechanized person. They are an android. You see somebody in the shape of a human, but with clear separations between plates to suggest where they were manufactured. There would also be little accoutrements of aquatic life. Of course, these are artificial, but we see a little jellyfish hair thing. We see a jellyfish skirt. But yes, Calliope is sitting there and has a little bit of a patch over where it would say VNO 5822 on their chest, standing for Valthuran Naval Ordnance 5822.
All right, so Calliope, yeah. Can you just give us a general sense of how you're moving about the space here? How frequently are you here? What do you do? And how would the people regard you?
Since the reactor beta incident, Calliope has been here every single day, actually. The probably hasn't gone back to recharge very much, is running on batteries, just like swapping them out and like plugging them back in. And currently can be seen darting around the camp. They have these little fans on their shins and back that shoot them through the
propel,
yeah, just like currently they are telling a line to hold up, and they're crouched over an old, let's say, koi fish person who is seated in a chair. And
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and just to kind of give a sense of what the needs of this area have been in the days following the reactor beta incident. The incident itself, heretofore not described in any detail, there was a bit of a seismic event, a bit of a flash and an internal explosion that had for a time completely trapped almost every single worker on that shift inside the refinery. In that particular building, they were trapped behind sort of unpowered doors that would not open. None of the sort of maintenance that should be done in sort of to upkeep a place like this had been done. And a certain set of good Samaritans, a certain suite of good folk did come together under duress and under some rather strenuous circumstances to liberate the people trapped there. Now, that did leave a good number of people dealing with, damage from falling structures, some bruises, some broken bones, some plasma burns, and this is the sort of thing that this is something that Calliope would be, would have well in hand. Is this the sort of thing that they would be kind of capable of dealing with on a day-to-day?
Yes, it's becoming a little bit tiresome, but currently they're doing all they can, like loading different medical supplies into their arm. Right now they have a little spray gadget out and it is spraying a sort of film over this person's plasma burn on their shin.
And you said this is kind of like an older koi folk person.
Yeah,
and they're you would have seen their face actually at the refinery on the day. This is a person who, despite their advanced age, has been working some pretty long hours and under pretty unsafe conditions just to try and scrape together a living. And in seeing them here, it kind of puts things in a little bit more in perspective as to kind of just like the danger that they're putting themselves under on a daily basis. But they do seem in this moment very sort of like the immediate sort of like spray that you've put on, sort of like hypo spray onto the affected area does seem to immediately have a mollifying effect. They kind of just ease up and kind of recline a little bit. They're like, oh, thank you. Thank you. You have no idea. It's the itching more than the pain.
Oh, yes, that'll do it. Though, don't get too comfortable. You have a few more things to worry about. Are you still working?
Not quite. I mean, well, you know, you work to live.
Right. Your hip joint, forgive me, I'm not so familiar with the underwater terminology. Your hip joint is a little bit out of sorts. Any more stress on that, you might risk a herniated disc later on.
Thanks. I would, I suppose, kick my feet up and just kind of do some bed rest, except I don't know if you noticed, but I don't exactly have the luxury. So it's very nice of you. Your bedside manner is fantastic. I can't stress enough. You're very pleasant, but can't exactly follow all the doctor's orders.
Well, follow these ones. And Clappy pulls out a little pen, writes it down, and while they're writing, they say, you know, I stole this pen out of my friend's clamshell handbag. I didn't know if you had pens down here, but here you are. Gives the person a slip of paper and looks around and then pulls out a little bottle of pills. These are anti-inflammatory. They're free. One a day until it's done. All right?
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
No catch? This isn't going to come back to, like, I'm not going to get a bill?
Is that your name on it? And, like, turns the label to them. It's clearly not their name.
Fair enough.
And yeah, no roll necessary for something like this. They're going to just snatch that right up.
And for the record, of course, we have pens down here. What do you think? Like, we have written language. What do people up there think of us?
I don't know. I was thinking maybe everyone texted or I don't. We don't have a lot of education.
Don't get me started on people with their hard light tablets these days. It's just constant. What happened to good old Sea Dragon scale? You can just etch into any. You know what? It's fine.
You're talking to an android. Okay, that's fine.
I meant no offense.
No, none taken. Take those and be well. Wink, and they have to say wink because they only have one working eye.
So you say wink.
Wink.
And I'm gonna take off there for a moment. Now, Calliope, you have noticed, and this is something that I'm not sure how you've been reacting to this, but over the past couple of days, on the outskirts of the sort of junkyard triage here, there have from time to time been, well, the security presence from the Valthuran naval units have been, let's just say military traffic has increased a great deal ever since the official story came out that there was an attack by dissidents, seditious vandalism attack that was done on the beta reactor, something that you may know to be a falsehood, but, well, for those who are interested in making sure that is, in towing that line, there have been a lot of people kind of patrolling the area and who've been kind of taking even those who have been injured here aside for questioning regarding the specifics of that day. No one's been like taken off site or anything like that, but there have been, a lot more sort of individuals, naval infantry people in full, so humans in full scuba regalia kind of coming through and asking some pointed questions, trying to get, trying basically to spread the official line to make sure everyone knows what happened here. What does Calliope do in response to kind of seeing this activity when they do see it?
When they do, they've been hanging around here for a bit, so they know for a fact, like, who's more likely to get pulled aside. Definitely, like, if there are any kids being seen without adults, they make sure to like usher them in, like, yo, you're attracting some bad attention right now. Another thing that they would do, they have the cover over VNO 5822. They will be tearing off a portion of it so that only VNO 58 is showing, not 22, to designate who exactly they are. They might even leave a little bit of tape to make it seem like it says VNO 59.
Okay, so you're basically changing the sort of serial number imprinted on the sort of chest plate to maybe obfuscate your identity somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But otherwise not really engaging, just trying to help people steer clear.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, good to know. Now, I will say there is at this point a particular group of unattended young folk who you have had a couple of dealings with here and there. A little gaggle of street urchins, sea street urchins, who come drifting along on the current. They're dressed like literal Dickensian street urchins with, like, I mean, just a patched up stovepipe top hat, and one of them's wearing like a magician's cape, like an old vaudevillian magician's cape. Another one's just like wearing like a trench coat and an old like newsboy cap. And they tend to basically, they all let themselves drift up so that the spindles of their sea urchin spines get kind of like caught together. So they're all like one mass of just connected heads that just float along on the current from place to place. A little vagabond quintet.
I love them so much.
And on this particular day, during a lull here after treating a couple of individuals, you see that small pack of them just kind of like waft in, and seeing you from a distance, they kind of drift a bit closer, and just in a chorus of just a cacophonous just voice and counter voice, like, "Oi! Oi there, Gav, hi! Hey, look at it! Look at it, there they are!"
Shit. Hello, you all. Calliope's not looking at them and is drinking a little bit of like oil right now.
Like, everything, by the way, all imbibing of liquids for creatures who need to imbibe liquids underwater, it's all through tiny straws. You gotta use little straws from vacuum sealed things, because that's, otherwise it gets everywhere. So you have your little like Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz, like oil can,
like a twisty straw
with a little twisty straw.
What there, Cal? Oh, top of the morning to you. How you doing?
Doing well. Is it already morning?
Technically, it's almost afternoon. How long have you been at this?
Enough to where my batteries feel like they're about to burst.
You hear that, lads? The batteries. You're silly. We don't understand anything about how you work. No.
I know even less about you. Do you want food?
When you say we know that you know even less about them, there's this one with like a toothpick that's kind of crunching on. It's kind of like,
yes, we like it that way.
Right.
No, we're not interested necessarily in stuffing our bellies today, no. But I'll tell you what, Cal. We got word that your good friend B is going to be at some big grand ceremony over at the parade. Over there on the parade grounds near the center of town. You didn't tell us that Lady B was that big a deal.
Wait, is the parade today?
Well, yeah, because it's a parade today. It's not what we should be talking about.
Not around here. Look, I haven't seen B in about 2 days. I should probably call her. Look, can you get me some more of these? And holds out a pillbox of antihistamines.
We'll see what we can scrounge up, yeah? But you're going to owe us another favor. We've been raking them in.
7 favors, got it.
There shall be 8.
And they snatch up the empty case. It's like, and they all right, now this shape and that shape, and we don't know how to read. And they just put their heads together and start drifting off.
And don't break anything.
No promises.
And Calliope, we're going to leave your side here. as you ponder whether or not, and if so, how to get back in touch with B. And instead, let's go elsewhere here. And as we do, in darkness, we open.
And a massive blow! Watch yourselves in the front row. He's on a tear tonight.
We find ourselves in a dimly lit, cavernous basement, almost a bunker. It's formed from an ancient, partially buried shell of a truly colossal giant clam. Now, the center of Marabas plays host to these marvels of technology and magic. I mean, towers of steel and light and tempered glass. And here, up in the margins, the local populations have learned that oftentimes it's just as well to make do with what has been here the longest, because that's the strongest. Another thing the local population have learned is you can make some good money beating people up in front of other people. And that's where we have... That's where we found ourselves here as the sort of MC of this establishment, one Vin Marinthos. I can go ahead and put his name here for everybody. I did not prep anybody for all the names. Vin Marinthos is a kind of like almost like a cephalopod merfolk. His entire underside here from torso down just spreads out into just eight long tentacles here, and up top you see he's wearing like a pretty like form-fitting kind of like a leather-like jacket and a couple of like studded bracelets, and he's very much got like a little bit of like a retro punk aesthetic going on, and he's got a old Valthuran tech, kind of analog-y, kind of touchy, but basically like a voice amplification module that the Valthurans first had to use back when they came down here, and they didn't have built-in sort of like aquatic voice boxes built into their helmets. They had to carry these, but he's got one of those just to kind of like act as like a microphone. And we find two people here in the ring engaged in some fisticuffs. Kappa, do you want to describe your character for us?
Yes, of course. This is Risubi. Risubi takes after your mantis shrimp, and so this hulking, towering figure scuttles along left, right, dashing, dodging punches, dodging hits left to right on these little tiny Mr. Crab legs. And as you come up, the torso widens out, very much Dorito bod, and you see these two massive, bulbous arms blocking, evading, jabbing, hook. And then just coming out of the chest, little appendages that actually would, if you take a look at them, would actually be able to grab stuff and articulate and stuff, because the other arms, they're there for just one thing. The most striking thing about Risubi is the plethora of colors, shimmering blues and pinks and oranges, yellows, greens. And he's just having a great time.
That's fantastic. And in this corner, your opponent is another Ostracan, a crustacean folk, a bit of a local legend, or at least that's how they like to be considered. For anyone who's played Skyward Sword, a bit of a Groose. This is a big muscle-bound lobster folk who just goes by their sort of stage name, their fighting ring name, the Scarlet Scissor. And so Risubi V, the Scarlet Scissor, as you engage here, go ahead and let's see if you can finish this fight strong. Go ahead and describe your final flurry of attacks and make this an attack task here, and that's going to be again just base level 2, so just to see if you can hit.
Okay, let's see, so that's based off of might, correct?
Yes, that'll be a might task.
Okay. I'll say throughout this entire fight, it's just been, test jabs, mostly blocking, dodging, weaving, absorbing hits with the giant, massive hammers that are his fists. And as soon as he starts seeing that this, what was it, the red scissor, the scarlet scissor?
Scarlet scissor.
The scarlet scissor is getting tired. He sees an opening. I'm going to expend some effort here.
Nice.
To just make sure that this is the punch. And go ahead and roll.
Takes it down from a level 2 to a level 1. You just need a 3 or higher.
Did I fail? I think I failed.
And on a natural 1.
Natural 1? Okay.
No.
Okay. So gearing up for that final hit is able to get the opening, and as the punch winds back up, it catches and pops at the shoulder, and it goes limp on the ground. This is the same Moor that's been giving him trouble for the past couple days after some mysterious incident, and as a result is unable to defend himself from the left hook.
And the Scarlet Scissor, at this moment, they kind of stagger, pause for a moment, brace for the hit, see it doesn't come through, kind of cock their head a little bit to the side, and kind of take a moment to gloat. And they're like, now you'll see why the way of the sideways path is the superior fighting style. How about you? And they come in, claws open for a clamping maneuver. Give me a defense roll here. Might or speed task, your choice.
Okay.
Now, the Scarlet Scissor, despite being a level 2 creature, goes all out in offense. So they attack with offense as though they were level 3. To defend successfully, you'll have to roll a 9 or higher.
9 or higher. Okay. I'll just go ahead and roll straight. No need to expend effort here, as we're trying to keep this a fair fight success.
And on a success, yes, go ahead and describe how you parry or deflect.
It's a claw, right? It's like a scissor
big,
claw.
this is a big humanoid lobster person, and they're coming in wide with like a big clamping hook.
It's coming in, and I shove my good fist right in there, and it turns into it, just jamming it up, and it turns into whether or not my fist can withstand the clamping power of his claw.
Oh, and Vin Marinthos is going wild. He's gonna like propel himself with just like this, like like a big sort of like the way that an octopus would like propel itself, like flapping all 8 of its tentacles to get high, like a bird's eye view over this and into the microphone. Oh, and what a reversal! And now you have one more shot here to close it.
Okay. I'm going to continue with the might. I will. You said difficulty 3, right?
This is going to be difficulty 2.
Difficulty 2. This one I will expend an effort.
Yeah.
Okay,
expending effort, bringing it down to level 1.
Yep. Success.
And on a success, yes. Okay, fantastic. Describe how you throw the knockout punch.
Ooh, okay. At first it's like battling for advantage here, as my fist is stuck in the claw, and it's back and forth, and then you see Risubi getting close, so there's enough space to pull the arm back, and as I tried to do with the first punch to close it out, do it again, but this time on the other arm, and with lightning fast speed, almost a huge crack as the fist unleashes, tearing free of the claw into the face of the Scarlet Scissor.
And there's like, for a moment, it's almost like sparks are flying underwater here. There's like a snap. You kind of create a vacuum. You move so quickly that like you create a small space where there is no water yet, and it takes a moment to fill in. And just the raw friction of that causes like a snap boil as you slam the big, just heavy wrecking ball fist into the Scarlet Scissor's face, there's a moment just where like on impact, like a flash, like a frame drop as it stands still for a moment, and then they go flying backwards, like literally flipping through the water outside the ring. And Vin, he's just selling it here.
Yeah! And that is a victory to the hometown hero, Risube! Give it up!
And he comes like wafting down, like takes his one arm and like lifts your kind of like loose arm up. Like as a,
that's right, arm. The prize fighter brings it home again.
Now, them's the breaks, Scarlet Scissor, I'm sorry to say, but none of the prize money is going your way tonight, but it's not over yet. We've got Knuckles on the line. Who here can stand up to the champ? Do we have any takers? Do we have any volunteers? And Risuvi, you see one hand go up in the crowd. A much smaller, less muscle bound, less just raw piston strength. It's a human hand. And swimming forth out of the crowd comes a Valthuran officer, an infantryman, in the full sort of like mostly opaque face shield and the white and blue sort of like scuba suit with reinforced armored plating. He's got his, he's got his sidearm, and he's like equipped in the same way that any infantryman would be. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll take him.
Up until this point, Risubi was kind of going along with the hype, with the crowd, and kind of hamming it up, as matching the energy of Vin. But as soon as the Valthuran comes down, swims over, the sort of posture and demeanor shifts, more serious, like there's no selling anything here. This might be personal.
Vin kind of like awkwardly chuckled.
Hey, glad to see. We're happy to we take all kinds here. Good to see any kind of visitors from topside want to come. But we've paid our dues. We've signed all the necessary paperwork here, so you know how it goes. I'm not responsible for anything that happens to anybody who steps in the ring, especially with the hometown hero, Risube!
And the officer just kind of, yeah, no, I know. I'm not, honestly, you can keep the prize money, by the way. This is below my pay grade. I'm here for fun. And don't worry, I'll give you an interesting challenge. And he pulls up his like wrist-mounted computer. He hits a couple of buttons. And the doors to this establishment that have been kind of like hard hewn out of, like carved out of an ancient giant clam shell, burst open, and in walks on an automated sort of walk cycle, a massive, mechanized, vaguely humanoid body. It is, can you give me just a general knowledge check here? This is going to be an intellect task, level 3.
Level 3? Okay.
Yep.
Submit. Failure.
Oh, and one short of
3.
success here. You've never seen anything like this. You wouldn't put anything past Valthur, but this is new.
This is intriguing to me. I'm very interested, and so as this thing comes out, my attention shifts from the Valthuran over to this thing, and it looks like my head starts tilting in different directions very rapidly as I'm trying to analyze this thing. I'm going to, I had a skill in general. No, it's okay, whatever. I am going to Never mind. I'm not going to do anything.
You're
Sorry,
not
my
going to do
bad.
anything?
My bad. But
Okay.
that's what's going on. I'm trying to study this thing as much as possible.
The hatch of this thing, this massive sort of like top side sort of glass covered cockpit opens up as it fills first with water, kind of pressurized to the local water, opens up. And as he's swimming in, he continues. See, I don't even need this to be like a whole knockdown, drag out thing. I thought this would be a good way to just be a little field test. And he sits down inside the mech's cockpit. It closes again, and slowly all the water begins to drain out of the sort of exhaust pipes. He's in a sort of vacuum sealed, aerated environment. He starts hitting a couple of things, like, pulling some levers, hitting some dials, powering this thing up, and you can see he's taking on manual control. So let's have a wager. Yeah. And this is just for fun. I don't need to play for keeps here. But you're the champ, right? You're taking home all the cash tonight. Give me your best shot. Just give me one good. Give me the best shot you got.
Okay.
And here's the twist. Whatever you do to me, I will repay you in kind. All right? And we'll see who comes out looking cleaner.
Without a word, like this whole time, Rusubi hasn't said anything. Without a word, Rusubi nods, just slowly. Can I? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, it's just a nod, and sort of looks over at Vin. If there's anything Vin has got, there's nothing else. Like
Vin is looking, just kind of like eyes darting between you and this guy in a big mech, and he's like, he kind of drops the sort of handheld microphone thing to his side and just kind of like whispers over to you. I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't want any trouble. So like, I mean, we either let him play this out or not, but like, I gotta wash my hands of this.
Okay. Rusubi just responds in kind. I understand.
Good. And he moves, he maneuvers this mech. It takes off a little bit, and with like limited jet capabilities, kind of like propels itself into the ring and lands heavy. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I'd like to make my punch attack here.
Okay.
However, what would the difficulty on that be?
You can make an attack action here with a difficulty level 6.
Level 6? Okay.
So the target number, 3 times that, is 18 on the die.
Okay. I have a couple of skills that I'd like to apply to this to help reduce that venture down.
Oh, I'd love that.
I have an eye for detail as a skill. Helping me try and find the weak spots. Mostly what I'm looking for is to see if there's an external power source or anywhere that I can get to pretty easily behind a shell.
Gotcha.
Second, I have a skill in general knowledge. Given how I know, how I have a mind for mechanics and all that stuff, maybe this will help me find that sort of like chink in the armor.
I see. So you're leveraging knowledge of mechanical engineering, and you're leveraging your special ability to have an eye for detail to find a weak spot.
Mm-hmm. I also have a skill in making deductions. So putting it all together, hoping to further my understanding of this new piece of equipment that this Valthuran is showing off. I want to try and use that against them.
Interesting. Okay.
What part of the machine was this person like really trying to play up? What part of this seems to be the most imposing? And hopefully that will help me determine where the weak spot is that I need to make a surgical strike on.
With your skill in mechanical knowledge and your special ability for an eye for detail, each one of those is automatically going to take 1 level off of this from level 6 to level 4.
Okay.
Now, I will allow you to also make an intellect roll.
Okay.
With a difficulty level 4 to see if you can make that deduction that will lower it further from 4 to 3.
Got it. Okay. I have an edge in intellect, so I'm going to apply that by spending effort.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
So you're spending effort on the roll to determine if you can make the proper deduction?
Yeah.
Intellect roll, level 3. 9 or higher will score you the ability to lower the punch difficulty down from a 6 to a 3.
Unfortunately, I rolled
a 3.
Oh, yeah, I rolled a 3.
So unfortunately here, you don't have enough time or experience, and even as you're kind of hesitating and making these calculations, kind of trying to figure this sort of last bit of the puzzle out to determine perfect amount of force, pressure, which location, the crowd starts to get a little antsy. And it's like, listen, if you don't want to, we don't have to. I mean, I don't want to frighten you. I don't want to ruin everybody's night. And so unfortunately, we're not going to take it down to a 3, but we will successfully take it down from a level 6 attack to a level 4.
Got it.
So target number is 12.
Okay. I will swim over, try and find the place where I think this thing is the weakest, and apply my punch attack.
Okay.
You said it was a 4?
It's a difficulty level 4. Yes.
Got it. Okay, and I'd have just a few more points of might left, so I'm going to apply effort to this roll.
Okay, taking it down to level 3 from the application of effort. Spending the points from your might pool. And great. A 13 will do it. Now, as you deal, how much damage from this attack?
7.
7 points of damage. And I'm going to say
a lot.
That is a lot.
It's a lot of damage.
Where do you hit this mech?
I'm going to hit it. Let's see. The art's not up. Okay. I'm going to go under and look at the seams and to try just wild guess. This is where the power source is.
Mm-hmm.
And not even like showboating, playing it up. Just walk over with my good arm, and just no fanfare or anything. Just
not like, again, this you're not showboating. This is a clean, powerful jab.
Just another cavitation bubble.
Yeah, the snap boiling of the water around your fist is just the friction of the sheer velocity. And as the claw, as the blunt end of your fist makes contact with this just perfectly just level metallic plating, you watch it buckle inwards as the mech crumples inward for a moment and has to readjust itself, and its foot has to like automatically rebalance as the thing almost takes a knee from the damage. And as you recoil and pull your fist back, you see that like he has this look on his face, the pilot, just like, oh, all right, okay, damn, damn, all right, hometown hero. And he's like hitting a bunch of buttons and dials here and again. The mech resituates itself. All right, cool, my turn. And he summons a new sort of piloting mechanism. And in the inside of the cockpit, there's this like a ring track all the way around, and 2 sort of handhold joysticks here come up, and he kind of takes hold of one of them and swings this he swings his arm around along the track, kind of pulls almost like he's punching on the inside, like the motion is very like 1-to-1. And so as he's like reeling this thing along this track, the mech's arm takes up like a cocked position and swings in, and I need you to give me a might defense or speed defense roll, your choice.
Okay. I will speed defense.
And this is also difficulty level 6.
Difficulty 6. Oof. Okay. I have 2. Okay. I'll just take this straight. I'm not going to apply any effort.
Okay. So you have to hit 18 or higher in order to succeed.
Failure. Rolled a 6.
Actually, you rolled a 15.
Did I roll a 15?
You rolled a 15.
Oh, never mind. Wow, that was close. Dang.
That was close. So you...
It's the Vin asking me not to make trouble that's holding me back. I think that's how how this narrative goes.
Okay.
I have to take this punch so that this whole operation doesn't go down.
You flinch for a moment, thinking you might have it in you, but as the fist of this mech makes just like a big right hook contact with your chest, like just chest plating, the initial impact sends your whole body just shaking, vibrating, and then the elbow of the mech collapses inward, a pillar like a piston. So initial impact, and then secondary column impact on hit, and that is going to deal a total of 8 points of damage to your might pool.
Ooh, okay.
For the audience here, in the Cypher system, when you apply effort or use special abilities that take from your pools, you have 3 of them: might, speed, and intellect. That's also the same pool of points that you take damage from. So, how's Risubi looking?
I have no more might points in my pool.
Is there any leftover damage?
No, that was
it was exactly enough.
It was exactly
took you down.
It was exactly it. I go down the damage track to, was it impaired?
So yes, when you have one of your 3 pools completely depleted down to 0, any additional damage carries over to the next one. Physical damage usually goes might, and once might pool is gone, it deals speed damage, and finally intellect damage. Only once a character has 0 points in all 3 of their pools are they considered dead. In this case, Risubi, your body is absolutely just rocked by the impact, and you now are likewise flung by that impact off the ring, and you collide with one of the stands where there had been bystanders and sort of the crowd watching you, and they hit the deck as much as possible, swimming off in all different directions as you collide with the wall, and now impaired from having
oh no,
unable to fully connect.
Oh, there we go. You're coming back. Slowly but surely, you're coming back.
Am I here? Because I just got
repeat the last thing we didn't hear.
Okay, because you're impaired now, as you impact the wall and send the crowd kind of scattering, swimming in all directions, you collapse down to the floor, and you're unable to pick yourself back up with any sort of swiftness. And yeah, it seems like your body is just kind of like dealing with that. You're reeling. Mm-hmm. And the man in the mech just calmly puts away the sort of punch mechanism implement and, all right. Well, thanks. That was good. That was fun. Y'all have a good night, right? And hey, no hard feelings. You enjoy your winnings. You earned it. And he turns and fires up this sort of limited jet propulsion on the back of the mech and just swims right out the door as the rest of the crowd is left just kind of slack-jawed at this. And that is where we're going to call break. Hey everyone.
Oh my god. How's
just a brief introduction to
that was great. Oh my goodness. Look at that. There's combat in this.
I was at the edge of my seat during the Risubi.
Who even knew?
I like that Risubi has a rival.
Yeah. I know, right? Yeah.
They stole my tech. That's what I do.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We're going to take a quick break now. Please join us in doing a little stretch, grabbing a snack, grabbing some water, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. We're back.
Welcome back, everybody. And we're going to jump right back in here as we rejoin our good lizard folk friend Bunk. Bunk, can you go ahead and describe really quick for us, where are you and why are you here?
I'm in the Repelia district of Marabas. There is a high-rise penitentiary made of many sort of different prison pods. It's kind of set up like, it's very zoo-like. All of the inmates can look over Marabas. They can see the city, but it's very much kind of these little insulated pods filled with tiny comforts and ecosystems. Some are underwater, some are air breathing. I am here to see someone who was recently incarcerated and to get a little information for someone who just gave me essentially a bomb detonator, some information on their incarcerated brother.
Understood. Now, as far as making your way in, are you just gonna try and like swim right in under like a visitor hours, or how are you making this approach?
The timing of this visit is extremely crucial. With the parade about to start, I'm assuming security is quite low, and I'm gonna try and go in with the laundry pickup.
Fantastic. Now let me get this straight here. When you say you're gonna go in with the laundry pickup, does that mean you are going to be pushing a laundry cart and hoping that or are you going to be hiding in the laundry?
So to start, Bunk is Back to the Future riding on the back of the laundry submersible truck.
Yep.
In that full lizard pose, you know, how lizards do on walls.
Full on gecko pose, yes.
And I'm assuming no one's in the back of this truck riding with the bins, so I'm going to go ahead and try and get into one of these.
Sounds good to me. Go ahead and give me a speed roll to stealthily kind of worm your way inside the laundry delivery here. Now, to do so unnoticed, this is going to be a speed task level 4.
Great. Reduced to 3 for me just naturally. And
Can you just for the sake of kind of like boasting about your build here, what is it that just naturally gets you?
Every single one of Bunk's eggs in this basket are in the speed basket. Specifically, Bunk is quick. They're a quick draw, quick shot. They go first in combat, often just mechanically. I have 20 points in speed, so I have points to burn. I'm going to use edge as well for this, Adam. Or effort rather, because this isn't the first time I've broken into a truck.
Understood. So by applying effort here, so that'll take a couple of points draining from that speed pool as you really dig deep for this. But between that and your training dealing with stealthy situations and infiltration, you're going to lower this down to a level 2.
Great. Need to be a 6?
Yep.
Did it not go? Come on, level 20. Believe in yourself. Sorry, just standard 2. That's a success with a roll of 6.
Exactly what you needed to roll to succeed. A 6 on the die. Describe it for us here, as you just barely managed to scramble in without anyone on patrol taking notice.
Straight up like Pirates Out, Bunk has a piece of like jagged metal they broke off the truck and sticks it between their teeth while they're climbing around the side of it, trying to get to the door. And like they are trying to hold on with both hands to not fly off of this thing at high speeds. And just with the piece of metal in their mouth, they will stab it into the latch again and again, very patiently, until they, like pecking like a bird, and break the doors open and slide right in.
Fantastic.
And since we're going to be bagging the laundry up in a lot of different bags, Bunk will just jump into one of these like little floating push carts and bury themselves in bundles of laundry bags.
Now, Bunk is a landlubber, right? They're from the surface world originally.
Certainly not from here.
So how lucky for you then that as a Valthuran prison facility, as soon as you're in, it's all dry. This truck goes through what is essentially like a sea version of an airlock. You go through a sea lock as the place is decompressed and all of the seawater filtered outside before the truck kind of basically almost like an airplane with landing gear lowers down wheels. as it kind of hits the floor, and as the inner gate opens, it takes off inside.
As soon as the truck is parked, is there any easy access from the back of the truck into the front where the driver is?
Easy? No.
Possible?
There's a latch, but it's not often used as it's mostly going to be backloaded. So it's kind of rusted shut.
Then what I will do instead is move the cart as close to where the driver's side is, hopefully making it so the driver has to climb into the back of the truck to reach it.
Good. When the truck eventually comes to a stop and the Valthuran pilot steps out, comes out back to sort of open the back hatch, they do find that in transit, as so often happens, the big bin of freshly laundered laundry has slid all the way towards the front end of the flatback. And as he climbs inside, what do you do?
Slowly, the barrel of a banana yellow sniper rifle emerges from the bin of laundry bags right into that person's face. Now, for me, do try not to make a noise.
We cut. It's a little later on. That guy's tied up somewhere. You've got places to be. Bunk. You approach one cell in particular. Inside.
In the attendant's clothes. That's, yeah.
Oh, like, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I knocked him out and I'm wearing the laundry guy's clothes.
You got the laundry guy's clothes on. You had
Little
to
cap.
roll up the sleeves 4 times because he was tall. In the cell that you approach, you find it's, as you said, it's a pod. And this is an aquatic prisoner, so this is a sort of pod with it sort of perpetually refiltering sort of like local water source of seawater. And inside you see a merfolk who's like somewhere between like a mermaid and a mer centaur. Imagine the top half of a human, and below, instead of just a fishtail, kind of like a plesiosaur body. Although to human scale.
Really long neck with a humanoid face.
You know what? Longer than like a surface dweller's neck, but we're not talking full Nessie here. Let's not get wild. She is dressed in like the prison garb, but even without the hair and makeup department, you would recognize a TV personality like this anywhere. This is Dinah Topaz, formerly one of the lead anchors for Marabas Tonight. Now, as you approach, there is a little press to talk function here that transfers, through a speaker.
Very casual howdy do to Miss Dinah Topaz.
She kind of like swims up a little closer and presses the requisite button on her side. Do I know you?
No, but I know you. I'd ask what you're in for, but I don't think you're in the mood to play coy. And frankly, I'm pull up the watch. I am on a timer. So I'm here to offer you an incentive. I know why you're here. I know what you did. You didn't read the copy they gave you. It took you away after the evening news, didn't they, Dinah?
Sorry. Do they pay you to chat up and insinuate things about the prisoners, or do they pay you to do the laundry?
Neither. I don't deal in money besides, but I need your help. I want to continue the work you're doing. And the incentive will be a free Marabas. And you, eventually, though I don't think you should go free right now. It might look mighty suspicious given what I intend to do with the information I hope to get from you. The source code, Dinah. To every telescreen and every radio in Marabas. I need to send a message to our people, and I know you can give that to me.
You're insane. Go ahead and give me a persuasion check here. Now, this is going to be an intellect task. Difficulty of 4.
Intellect.
He is not inclined to believe whatever it is you're peddling.
Bunk doesn't have many more people to talk to today. They are going to dig deep on this to lower the difficulty again, hoping that they can somehow appeal to what motivated Dinah to make that choice that got her locked up in the first place. So with a point of effort, taking my intellect down by another 2. Another 2. Difficulty 3 now?
It is now a difficulty 3.
Come on.
Target number 9.
Ah, sad.
Unfortunately, on a failure. I don't know what it is you think you're going to accomplish. But this is base entrapment. I'm already awaiting trial. I am not going to incriminate myself by who sent you? Was it the detective inspector? Because I've had just about enough of his games.
He's an acquaintance, but he did not send me here, and I can assure you I'd be in the cell next to yours if he knew I was here. I don't work for them, Dinah. I'm hoping to work for you and everybody else in our city. But we need to kick them out of their complacency here. Reactor Beta was no accident. Reactor Beta was negligence. People lost their lives because Valthuran could not give a shit about the people working down there. They only care about what they can provide, what they can refine. It is time to change the story. Will you help me write a new story for our people?
I'll have you know, I was not going on some grand crusade. I'm not in this cell right now because I was trying to be a revolutionary. I simply asked pertinent questions about holes in the official story as to what happened at the reactor.
And what does it tell you that a simple question landed you in prison?
It tells me that I ought to be careful what I say and to whom.
It tells me that that's exactly what they were hoping your reaction would be. Right when you were on the cusp of doing something great. I'm running out of time here, Dinah. I have to go. There's too much to do. Will you help Maribas, or do I find another way to do what I need here? What sort of woman are you?
You may be running short on time, but time is all I have now in abundance. So, you're going to have to prove it. Prove that you are not a plant, that you're not here on orders from Valthuran officials trying to incriminate me into further jail time.
I pull out a small portrait that I keep in my back pocket that is never removed. A portrait of me with the family I used to live with. And I slap it against the glass.
You can go ahead and give me another intellect roll, but with this counting as an asset. I'm actually going to say...
I did not expect to play that card so fast.
You can go ahead and actually make this as an intellect task, difficulty 1. Whatever it is you just showed her.
Roll a 1.
I'll cry.
I mean, if it meets, it beats, right?
Yeah.
I think no. I think 1 is just you sunk. But I rolled
16 beats, so level 1, yeah.
And the look in Bunk's eyes is just pure fire, like at having to reveal this to this silly person.
No. You weren't kidding. Oh,
I wasn't.
They want your head, and they want it on a platter. You do realize you've put yourself at quite the disadvantage.
And you do realize that if you talk, I will let them know that you're the one that got me the source code, whether you help me today or not. And then they will have your head beside mine on the platter.
Well played.
The source code, Dinah.
Source code. You're acting like it's some kind of grand, like you're going to hack it into the mainframe. You just need my credentials. I have a lot of friends back at the station. They will not have changed my passwords. They're expecting my swift release.
You're very well suited for your job, given how much you love the sound of your voice. The password, then.
Fine. You're going to want to give my credentials as follows. Username Topaz159D. And the password, Douse the Torch.
I think I can do that for you, Donna.
You damned well better.
Bunk kicks. As like the threats trailing away in their ears, Bunk has kicked the spurs on their cowboy boots, which are little propellers, and like Hermes, they jet away and put on their cowboy hat.
Little wheelies! Yeah!
And with that, we are going to move on. We find ourselves now assembled at the center of Marabas, amid the stately tide scrapers, the soaring structures that are affixed to the sea floor and reach up from the dark recesses all the way up to where light filters down from the sea above. And here, we witness the assemblage of dignitaries, both surface dwelling and aquatic. We have the assembled representatives of the Schoolmasters Academy. We have members of the Valthuran Municipal Security Force. We have representatives from the corporate ownership class of the Metropolitan Coralite Refinery, all assembled on a high balcony overlooking the main promenade of the city. And we have here, also, and I'm terribly sorry, my cat just made the silliest noise. In this moment, all of the large sort of hard light video screens that are affixed in like almost like an underwater Times Square capacity to the sides of the facades of major buildings and on like large billboards, and one affixed to the, you know, where normally like transit updates are given and the train schedules for the municipal sea tram are listed. Everything has been overridden. And now we see projected on all of them the same face, the helmeted, brassy face here, like of the dive helmet, which belongs to the Viceroy and Colonial Governor, representing Imperial Valthuran interests in Sonaspar, the administrator of the Ostara complex, that city on top of the city, Cadmus Kyrulus. Never seen in public without this partially obscuring facial apparatus, this sort of ceremonial headgear. And as you're not sure where he is, because he's none of you who would be in attendance, none of the people in attendance here can see him in person, because this is a remote performance. Nonetheless, he has a large sort of like a dais. He's standing at a dais with a microphone in front of him, and he begins to speak.
People of Marabas, assembled citizens and dignitaries, I cannot adequately express my gratitude for your earnest cooperation over the past years, months, weeks, decades. You have all been truly exemplary of the mutual gain that we'll be celebrating here today. This afternoon's festivities I dedicate to all of you, my fellow countrymen, and my friends beneath the waves. I took a great deal of time and effort to arrive where we are today. A lot of yelling across long tables, a few doors slammed, just the three. But look at what we have built together. Look at what we've accomplished. And as a symbol of our mutual cooperation, let us mark the occasion by placing now
upon the newly installed statuary that we have paraded here to the grand center of our fair city. And he gestures, and everyone in attendance can see that there is a massive, 12-foot tall marble statue of both the Crown Prince of Sonaspar, the sea elf, the merfolk, Crown Prince Urati Lascaris, an Adonis-like figure rendered in marble, clasping hands with the supreme leader of the Valthuran Empire, Her Imperial Majesty Drusilla Septima Valthur. And where their hands meet, a Valthuran officer approaches with a crown of laurels, like a laurel wreath rendered in pure silver, and places it and affixes it around their clasped hands. And now, with this symbol, we dedicate ourselves to a full century of friendship and a massive explosion. As the silver wreath, which had slowly begun to vibrate over the last several sentences, a tiny coralite agitator affixed to one of its leaves, a little jury-rigged coil of alchemically dipped gold wire and a chunky microchip, which had passed hands in a back alley some hours before, affixed to a vial of weapons-grade coralite fluid, which had been sequestered into and hidden inside the crown itself, detonates, utterly destroying from the torso up both pieces of statuary, not powerful enough to do real damage to any of the assembled submersible tanks and mechanized infantry units, let alone deal significant damage or harm to any of the assembled officers, but certainly enough to embarrass Viceroy Cadmus Kairoulis, who immediately begins stammering over the vid screen. I'm sorry, what is the meaning of this? And we're going to cut away now, and everyone here, give me your account. Where are you when this happens? Let's start with Risuvi. Have you recovered from your Fight Club mishap? And where will we find you at this time?
This is later in the day, right? From that fight?
It's some hours later.
Yeah, I think in that case, directly after the fight, I would have definitely found a private room to try and assess the damage to the arm, make sure everything's okay, nothing's super cracked, and I can still, function. So I'm going to use. Would you have used? Yeah, I was going to say, can I use like 3 of these rests? I have action 10 minutes and 1 hour rest.
Fantastic that we get to access this feature in our first session. The rest mechanic in the Cypher system, you can recover a certain number of points a number of times per day. This is a sort of thing that works kind of like taking a breather at first, but each time you use your rest to recover, and Kappa, if you could just remind me, how many points can you recover per rest?
1d6 plus your tier, so 1.
So you are all tier 1 characters. So you can, yes, exactly. You can roll a d6 and add 1. The first time you do this per day, it takes basically a round of combat to do so. The second time you do so, it takes 10 minutes. The third time you do so, it takes an hour, I believe, right? And then the fourth time you do so, it takes 10 hours. So basically, each time you make use of this recovery mechanic, you have to be able to set aside longer and longer chunks of time in which to do it. But since you had a few hours to yourself, how many points do you recover?
Can I say that I took the 1 hour and the 10-minute rest first before the single action rest?
I'm going to say yes, just because I like that. That's a fun house rule. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I'd taken my first hour rest, and that recovered 5 points. And here's my 10-minute rest, 7 points.
You're fighting fit now, aren't you? You're like looking good.
Had nice room to fix myself up, make sure zero interruptions. So I'm feeling a lot better. Mostly pride has been hurt at this point, but it was to make sure that Vin and their whole operation wasn't at risk.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Given
So-
the shittiness of the Valthuran officer. So at this point, I think I'm walking towards my my residency, my abode, when I'll say I think Risubi would not be paying attention to the date and is confused with everyone just kind of being around. And it isn't until so he's just trying to weave his way. I'm just trying to weave my way through the crowd, not bump into anyone, make sure, you know, not stir up any more trouble or attention to myself than I already do, being bright neon colors. And it's when you said it was a hologram or like a television thing.
There are vid screens all over. It's like, imagine like Times Square, but every screen is this guy's face.
Great. So it isn't until I see Cadmus on a vid screen that I pay attention. And I watch all of this go down. Maybe I want to say like 10 minutes away from my domicile.
What about Bahari? What has Bahari done since that shift ended early?
Well, Bahari figured a good place to avoid most of the crowd, but still kind of get to see what's going on and spend time with one of her oldest friends would be to go to the Lonely Light. So my question is, if you happen to be like lounging about on the roof of the Lonely Light, can you see what happened from there?
I would say the Lonely Light is like a couple miles away from the city center.
Oh, okay. But how big was this?
It's like a massive city. But I can say I would love if you and Rhoda were
that was
both.
my plan.
Yeah. So you definitely could have go and hung out with Rhoda, and maybe you know, after a couple of highly concentrated drinks through tiny straws, both of you thought it would, if you'd like, Rhoda may have suggested, like,
hey, what if we just go for a lark? What if we just go take a look?
Oh, all right.
It'll be fun. We don't have to stay the whole time, but like,
sure. That's how it always starts.
So yeah, if you're down, like Rhoda, you know, she has been like a close family friend and has kind of had your back since you were just a tiny thing, and she especially given some recent experiences you two went together, you've really kind of rekindled the friendship. And she is like,
girls' day out. Let's go. We're gonna go downtown. I might splurge. I might actually spend money on something that isn't for repairing the bar. Do you realize how long it's been since I've spent money on something other than repairing that goddamn bar?
Yes, we do. You deserve this. You've talked me into it. Let's go shake a fin down there. Come on, let's go.
Come on. All right. And yeah, so just kind of like, what did you and Rhoda get up to here, like as the parade is going on here? And again, it's a military parade. So like, oh yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Isn't Calliope stationed right outside the Lonely Light?
Hell yes. You are. So when Bahari shows up to shoot the shit and just hang out with her friend Rhoda, Calliope, you are just finishing a very strange conversation with a very eccentric bunch of tiny urchin children. And that's when you see, Bahari comes swimming up. And this is just right around the time, actually, you would see her and Rhoda starting to take off towards the center of town. Do you address them? Do you close the gap?
Calliope thinks for a moment and says, Bahari?
Yes?
Yes. Where are you going? Rhoda, I do still need access to your hose. If I could loop that around the bar. Or...
Oh, please. For you, Calliope, anything you need. Honestly, if it weren't for you lot, and I've never had friends in high places before. So, you know, I don't mean to gush, but anything you and our friend the schoolmaster need, you know, you
the schoolmaster. She was so pretty.
Isn't she just a vision? She's
Calliope is sitting there like covered in like little wrappers from surgical equipment and stuff, and looking scratched up, and like, yeah, she's great. Where are you headed right now?
We're going into
We're gonna go down to check out the parade. Bahari gently removes some of the wrappers from you. Did you want to take a break from working? I think you've been here a while.
How's the line right now?
The line at the line where?
At the medical camp right now.
Honestly, you've kind of seen to any emergency cases, and you've kind of you at this point you would have distributed any medication you managed to kind of like get your hands on by hook or by crook, and so at this point, yeah, you're at the end of like a shift. You're basically like at the end of a nursing shift, looking just a little worse for wear, a little low on the batteries. But Rhoda sees you, Bahari, take like a piece of detritus, just like a piece of like sticky something off of Calliope's chassis, and she's like, "That's a great idea. Listen, you should come along because you're just like a walking trash receptacle right now, and we could use that. I mean that in the best way. We could throw it at like the tanks and stuff."
Rhoda!
It would be fun. Listen, what are they gonna do? Stop the parade?
Calliope's like, okay. Just a moment, and like holds out their hands, and little like bubbles come out as they sanitize their hands. Walks over to one last person, and like, all right, grabs their arm, 1, 2, and snaps it back into place.
Yeah, you're just like. No roll necessary.
Yeah.
You have a dislocated shoulder that you just. All right, hold on.
Like, wow! Oh, thank you.
My pleasure.
Wow! Range of motion.
No, don't move it too much. All right. Come back in 2 days, and
I'm not going anywhere. You can come back in 2 days.
And ease up on the salt. All right, in the diet. Thank you.
It's in the water.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, it appears that I'm free. I'll come along.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Oh,
Let's go.
We're gonna get the
I'll
whole
introduce
gang
you.
together.
I'll introduce you properly to Berengaria, if she's not too busy.
Yeah, if she's not
such
too
a nice-
busy.
Right. I'm cool
Okay,
too.
now we have to go.
Yeah, no, let's go.
Straight.
Oh, you know I love you, Calliope. Don't give me that.
And yeah, so the three of you take off, and so let me know, like where do the three of you situate yourselves here as the parade kind of comes to an end? They're all assembled around the ring, around the central pillar of the city, and they're on high, on a balcony in that central stone and glass pillar that rises to the surface. You can see there's all the dignitaries and corporate luminaries. Where do the three of you find yourselves?
Bahari instinctively tries to find a place that's not going to be enclosed in because, mantas can't swim backwards. We need to be able to turn around. So we're making sure that there is space to get in and out of there.
Well, the good news is crowds are not as difficult necessarily to navigate when you have a Z-axis to work on as well. So you can definitely like take a bit of a perch. There's like in the city, because of public transit and just the way that traffic laws work, you can't swim higher than like a certain number of meters, or else you're kind of like in traffic lanes. But you can get high enough that like all of you can kind of get a good look here. Well, Calliope, do you have any sort of like specific things you'd like to do in town?
As we're looking for a perch, I will say, as we're looking out through the crowds, Calliope's blue eye flashes red just a few times as the Valthuran programming like switches on just a little bit, and they start examining the crowd tactically, looking for potential threats. But they instantly they bonk their head, and they're like,
is that supposed to happen?
Technically, yes. It is.
Okay.
You're gonna hurt
yourself. I won't worry.
I'm made out of very stern stuff, as they say. So.
Can you feel pain? Is that weird for me to ask?
I can feel pain. If I can turn it off, but pain is actually vital for biological organisms to know what mannerisms not to repeat and such. So I keep the pain receptors on. See? Ow.
I want to avoid the pain, though.
I'm saying if I would turn it off myself. I don't know about y'all.
Well, I will follow you all around and hopefully don't bump into any sharp objects.
Oh god, yeah, we get enough problems. Let's try not to create any new holes in ourselves today.
Yes.
Berengaria, you're actually one of those assembled dignitaries high up on that balcony, watching over the city below, prime viewing of this very militaristic parade of just a lot of guns and people in uniforms swimming in formation. How's that been for you?
If I could sweat, I would be. I have found my time to be as quiet as I can be. I'm mostly just shuffling around and taking up space with these other people. I am not comfortable with them. I don't belong here, but it seems that a turn of events has put me here.
Yeah, the dean is next, and he's definitely recovered his composure since that meeting where he kind of had like a moment of just kind of brutal honesty with you, and he is once again very much in politician mode. He's shaking hands. He's giving the big hollow guffaws. He's, like he's mingling with the class of people who are at this point quite overtly subverting and undermining what the College of Schoolmasters is meant to do. Can you, Berengaria and Bahari and Calliope, can all three of you give me a perception check of sorts? There's going to be an intellect task, difficulty 3, to see if either side of you can pinpoint where the other ones are in the crowd, both looking up or looking down.
I rolled a 16.
Hey, Berengaria, you've been doing a lot of work to not mingle or look at very threatening people in the eyes. So it doesn't take you long to find the very distinctive sort of like silhouettes of some familiar figures. Meanwhile, hell yeah, Bahari, you also, in return, it's like you and Berengaria almost like have a moment where you lock eyes over 100 meters or more. Calliope, I'm going to say you're definitely just thoroughly distracted at this point after having to kind of bonk yourself out of that weird threat assessment protocol. But the two of you make eye contact over long distance here.
I wave.
And as you wave, that's when the statues just explode, detonate. Hey, Bunk, where are you right now?
I'm coming back from Repalia. I just visited a friend at the jail. It took a little longer because I did have to get a guard rotation for the second floor and find a cell number. So the point was to try, that's why I keep checking the watch, to try and get back right when the explosion happens, if possible.
That's fine.
But if not possible, another day.
Give me a speed task difficulty 5. To see if you can make it all the way back across town to the central pillar again, to get your timing just so.
Is it fair to say I'm putting a lot of effort into this? I'm trying real hard to make it.
Sure, take that down to a 4 and take subtracting your edge where necessary. Take those speed points out of the pool.
I did so.
Swim.
Swim.
Fast as you can. Kick those spur propellers into gear.
Yeah, come on. I got to make these things bigger. All right, and submit. Come on, Bunk. I failed. I didn't make it.
Oh, unfortunate.
That's okay.
It
was a shot in the dark.
You're not going to be too far behind, however. But in this
it actually might be for the best. Yeah.
Be elsewhere when it goes down. For everyone else assembled here at this moment, Rasubi, can you also give me a perception intellect check, difficulty 3? But with your eye for detail, take it down to a 2.
Great.
To see if you can.
To see if I can what?
To see if you can recognize in the chaos that now immediately ensues, given this localized explosion, if you can notice that you have some familiar faces nearby.
Okay. Nope. I rolled a 4.
Nope. Okay, Rasubi, what you see right now?
Too focused on this vid screen.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Do not mantis shrimp have the most advanced eyes of almost any creature on the planet?
This is true. Where humans have 3 cones that can perceive color, mantis shrimp have upwards of 15. I think it's 15. It's a lot. Mantis shrimp.
So you can see. I need you to know right now. Risubi sees in such detail as cannot be explained or perceived by humans. A real cool little explosion. Pretty much nothing else. But in the sort of aftermath of this, let's pick back up real quick with Bahari and Calliope and Berengaria. Rhoda is cackling.
Did you see that? Look at that.
It's impossible to miss.
Serves him right.
Don't say that too loud. We don't want to get arrested. You can't be too happy on the streets.
You're saying don't say that too loud, as there's a din of a cacophony of people, like just no one knows exactly what's going on, and there is like a lot of chaos that is immediately erupted in this vicinity of people who have assembled to watch the parade are just swimming off, scattering in many different directions. You can see that already on the sort of front lines in the inner ring where all of those vehicles have been assembled, an entire platoon's worth of Valthuran naval infantry have mobilized and are immediately trying to set up a perimeter to try and they've turned on their shoulder mounted sort of like scanners and flashlights. They're swimming in formation, trying to kind of like assess the situation. Kairulis has the audio feed has been cut, but you can see even through the not entirely transparent faceplate in his mask, he's getting like red in the face. Like, I won't stand for this. This is ridiculous.
He's big mad.
Calliope's like kind of hunched over, grabbing the nearest like pole, because their instincts and programming are telling them to immediately assess threats, to immediately go and assist the Valthuran soldiers. So their eye is flashing, and they're just sort of covering it, and they're like, Bahari, where's Berengaria? Did you see her?
Yes, she was up there with all the other big important people.
Yeah, Calliope.
Calliope just says, can we get her, and we need to get out of here now.
They're really pushing everybody kind of towards the center. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get up there, but we can try.
Berengaria, immediately there are like higher ranking Valthuran officers who are just very in a calm and orderly fashion beginning to try and usher people back inside the oasis. Everyone, please, if you could just, we're going to remove ourselves from the situation. Everything is in hand. This is just a minor setback. We're going to pass the speed bump. Everyone just filter inside.
Is it necessary that there's so many soldiers around?
Well, given the circumstances, I'm going to say I'm glad we're here. Yes.
I think you're scaring people. There's too many of you.
I think the explosion is scaring people, miss.
There's a whole platoon down there.
And we're doing our best to assess the situation and bring to justice whoever is behind this. Now, if you could just please follow me, we're going to go inside.
No, I don't want to go with you.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, please.
I was gonna say, can I start heading in the direction of all this commotion as this is
hell
happening?
Yes, of course you can. Yeah.
I'm going towards that commotion like a moth to a flame myself.
Yeah. Swimmies.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Risubi, you were at distance, and with magnified vision, you could see, like what happened. You saw it was like a small, purely just aesthetic damage. It's like just purely surface level. You didn't you can already see it doesn't look like there's any casualties or anything like that.
Yeah, no structural damage, anything, just mostly.
Yeah, no major damage to any architecture. It doesn't look like any of the military vehicles have been hurt. Whatever it was like small enough that it was like, this was a message. I think you can pretty much tell right now, like whatever this was meant to embarrass the assembled officers, and that's probably. But you can definitely like move in a bit. Berengaria, go ahead and give me an intellect task, difficulty 4, to try and talk this officer down from like being kind of pushy about getting you inside.
Okay. Could I try to discern the disposition of this person? I want to try to assess, is there like an ulterior motive here? Are they just following orders? Do they seem suspiciously calm about all of this?
That's fair. Is this an ability that requires like a check, or is this something you get to do?
It's a skill.
It's a skill. Okay. So I'm gonna say, you mean like a skill in the sense of you get to lower a difficulty of assessing someone's disposition?
Skills. Discerning disposition of others.
Yeah.
Great. So all right. So this would normally be a difficulty 3 task, and it's also intellect focused. Because this person is behind a mostly opaque sort of like face mask and a rebreather helmet and speaking through like layers of like voice modulation through like a speaker system, kind of can be a little hard to read. So it's going to be difficulty 3 base. You're trained, however, in discerning these things about people. So that takes it down to a 2. You can go ahead and roll with a target number of 6.
Okay. I cast vibe check. I rolled a 10.
And you succeed. You can tell that you kind of like looking through, you kind of like just focus your gaze and you look through and you meet this person's eyes through the face mask here. And they are, their eyes are kind of wide and you can see that they are kind of sweating a little bit. There's little beads of sweat kind of pulling up. So and their voice does crack a little bit when they start trying to usher you inside one more time. There's a facade here of training that's taking over, that's telling them to keep calm and manage a situation. And the sort of suddenness of here, they're dealing with an adrenaline spike, but they're just doing pretty well at it.
I will reach forward and put my hand on their shoulder. Hey, it's going to be all right, okay? People are scared right now, and pushing them around isn't going to help anyone. You're just going to agitate them, and they're going to be more scared.
I'm going to say the dean at this point too turns kind of over his shoulder as he's kind of being like pushed inside.
You should listen to Berengaria, one of my finest. They're a fantastic diplomat. They're a wonderful calming influence. You know, you should. Never mind.
As you kind of give him like the and he gets pushed inside. But I will say that him speaking up for you is going to be an asset. So that,
hell yeah.
And this now counts as an attempt at a pleasant social interaction, which you are trained in. So what was a level 4 task to try and get this person to back off a bit now goes down to level 2, and you now need to meet a 6 or higher again with an intellect roll to see if you can try to diffuse the situation.
Let's go. I rolled a 1.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Wait, you get an intrusion.
That's true.
How does this work? What is this?
Now, I will say, because this is a moment of tension here where things could pivot one way or another, if anyone has, perhaps from an unaired prior session, an experience point, you can expend an experience point to re-roll any task. However, if not, on a natural 1 where there are stakes at hand, there is going to be a GM intrusion where I get to basically make a hard move against your situation here. So anyone, I'm saying like a going once, going twice here. If anyone wants to try and force a re-roll, if you have the ability to.
Can I ask a question? Not that I have an experience point, but just curious. Does proccing the reroll mean they as a character intervene some way, or is this just rules happen?
My understanding of rules as written is that anyone at the table can expend an experience point regardless of where they are narratively, but I would prefer, I guess, that someone be in the scene and could narrativize how they do it.
Good.
So with this, on a nat 1, this officer is going to kind of like shrug your hand off and kind of like hover his own hand just kind of instinctively over towards his side. And we're like, you're going to need to back off. Oh. I'm going to need you to get inside right now. This is not...
Is it too late to use the experience point thing?
I would say yes at this point. It is.
Oh no! I was trying
However-
to say, but then you start talking. I didn't want to interrupt. I was like, ah!
Oh no! If you
Oh.
wanted to,
Yeah.
Okay.
if
That's
you
kinda
wanted
cool.
to, if you didn't want to interrupt, no, go for it.
Okay.
But hurry. Insert
So-
yourself into the situation.
Oh, well, there's only one way I could do it. I know I wouldn't be able to convince this guy, but suddenly Berengaria disappears.
So, my understanding here is that Bahari has been swimming up
Yep.
towards this balcony.
Yes, since the minute we touched eyes and
From the
everything went crazy, and we talked, like, I can try to get to her.
Yeah.
I guess
Actually,
Clyde
you know-
sees that for the first time and is like, what the f?
Yeah.
Yep,
And then Rhoda's
So-
like,
Here's how I'd like to narrativize this, because I don't want this to be something where you re-roll it, because this isn't you giving her the ability to re-roll a persuasion check.
oh, sorry.
No.
I love
This is even better.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is better. This is significantly better, because the GM intrusion, when I do that, when I make a hard move on somebody, you get 2 experience points and you pass it to someone else who helps you escape that situation or mitigate it to the best of your ability.
Oh, okay.
And if you're cool with that, Stella,
Mhm.
Berengaria keeps an experience point, and Bahari gets one as well for helping get you out of the situation. But in order to do so, to see how successful this is, Bahari, I'm going to need you to give might or speed, your choice, a task of level 2 to try and get basically to get a grasp onto like Berengaria to like transfer the power onto her in a way that like allows you to maneuver around and not like bump into or alert anyone to your position here.
Exactly. Okay, I have a 12 in speed. How does that affect like what I need to roll here?
So your pool there is like, if you wanted to expend effort, you could take 3 points from that pool and basically expend some of your speed HP to lower the difficulty by 1 stage of any speed related task.
Okay. I see. That.
Yeah, so that's basically the way that would work.
All right, look, here goes. Ooh.
So are you going to, I'm sorry, did you want to use a
No, I
level of effort?
think I can do it.
Okay, got it. 6 or higher.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all her sentence. Bahari is a creative adept who exists partially out of phase, and she can use that ability to move without being seen, and she can take people with her, but only for very short amounts of time. However, we won't need that much time if I roll high enough. So
Yes.
let's see what happens.
Oh no! And on a 5, this is going to, so here's what happens. Bahari, you move in instinctively, thinking you have to get Berengaria into this phase cloak that you can perform. In doing so, you barrel a little clumsily right into the back of this officer, knocking him, like taking him kind of like knocking him freewheeling. He's floating here, so he doesn't stumble too much, but he kind of like does a little underwater somersault very slowly, kind of awkwardly. You do manage to pull Berengaria into your phase cloak.
Okay.
But immediately, the officer recovers, pulls his weapon, and is barking orders. Where did they go? Where did she go? Everybody, I need more. I need backup here now. And we're going to cut away. Bunk. Risuvi. Both of you converge onto the scene of utter chaos as people are shouting, streaming away. People are trying to hitch rides in little submersible cabs or trying to get to their personal vehicles. Some people are rushing the C-Tram train station. But the two of you are some of the only people moving towards the site of the explosion. And you see each other across the thoroughfare approaching from different angles.
For me, can Rasubi see me trying to pry open the hood of a tank, like a weaponized vehicle?
Risuvi, yes, in fact, you do
Oh
see, you lock eyes, Bunk, you look up and you kind of look at each other, and Bunk, you're in this kind of somewhat compromised position of trying to effectively crowbar open basically one of the massive metal plates with very little success of
I slowly
like an armored, like aquatic tank, like a low seafloor trawler tank.
I slowly doff the cowboy hat. Like at
Yeah, and Rasubi, like it's all body language at this point, but Rasubi just does the sigh, roll eye, and then just take his fist and whack the crowbar, adding much more force to the leverage, and pop open this trawler.
This thing is armor reinforced. It has like stem bolt sealing. I am going to need.
But we used a simple machine. It's a lever, Adam.
I know.
It works.
Risubi.
Yeah.
I'm going to need you to make a might roll, level 6.
Okay.
However, we're going to lower it 1 level because you're being helped by Bunk. And we're going to lower it another level because you're using an asset in the form of Bunk's leverage with like this crowbar like object. So we're going to take it down from a 6 to a 4, unless you have anything else you want to leverage here to try and make this happen.
I was just general knowledge. He knows, like, I know physics, and so I know to hit the furthest point of the lever to apply the most amount of force.
And just
I don't know
encourage.
if that's enough to warrant an entire step down, but that's what I got.
Maybe doubling up with my encouragement when I look at Rasubi and say, in fairness, you did promise to get me one of these last time we met. Reminding Rasubi of the promise he made.
Yeah, and again,
Honestly,
it's just nods, no verbal communication.
I would say that the relevant training here is knowledge of mechanical engineering and like metalworking. So yeah, let's take it down to 3. Target number is a 9.
You can do this.
Oh
my god.
Oh no!
That's a 6.
Oh no!
Oh wait.
Oh man. Okay.
What's going on?
One more thing. Do I see basically everybody at this point?
Calliope, yes, you are taking up kind of like you kind of floated up a bit to where like and you and Rhoda are still kind of like nearby each other, but you've got like a great angle to basically witness everything happening at once here. You just saw Bahari momentarily reappear like a wavering in the water, like a cloaking device failing before she grabbed onto Berengaria and both of them disappeared. Now there's a ruckus up there. You've got multiple armed individuals who are like converging on their last known location. You also see, God damn it, it's Bunk and Risubi. Once again, the two of them are maneuvering in places involving heavy machinery where they ought not to be, and they seem to be working with little success to try and wrench open the hull of a massive military vehicle.
Okay. Calliope is going to stay exactly where they are and try to help both by saying a few words. Because one thing I'm going to do is Calliope's going to look very like ugh at Risubi. And whisper, oh, Bunk, and rips out some batteries, stashes new ones in. I'm gonna use my scan ability on what Rasubi is trying to pry open, and I'm gonna try to yell out something helpful.
Interesting. So you're going to scan it to try and understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
So I can scan an area, including all objects or creatures within that area. You also learn whatever the facts the GM feels are pertinent about the matter and energy. So I know what it contains. I'll know if there's any structural damage. I'm assuming that also comes from my find the flaw ability, because
Yes.
I am a sharp-eyed adept who fuses mind and machine.
Very cool. What's the range on your scan?
I don't know.
It's either immediate, short, or long range. That's right, everybody. Cypher System does not require you to memorize a bunch of feet distances. It's like it's either right here, over there, or way over there. So
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. Oh, geez. I don't think I wrote that down.
honestly, I'm gonna let you have this one just because it's a fun thing. But like going forward here, like
Okay.
we'll try and like keep it to like as written here. But I love that you kind of do like and also it's Valthuran tech. You're Valthuran tech, so you know like you have like a resonance signature that you can pick up off of this machinery. So one thing you recognize that none of these massive military vehicles are armed with ammunition. None of them have weapons grade coralite cells powering any of their weaponry, because this is all for show. The only thing of value that could be stripped out of this other than like spare parts and mechanical bits, there is a powerful coralite powered engine. Basically a almost like a hyper dense, pure refined like canister of liquefied coralite that acts as almost like a battery powerful enough to run a tank. And that's probably what they're going for. And you also see that there are some fault lines they've not made use of yet.
Yeah. So Calliope just and like you see like the ripples of the water as they get ready to yell. Rasubi,
What the hell?
a little to the left.
Are you following me?
Does that help their difficulty at all?
Normally this would be the sort of thing where we'd have to like, what did Stella, you called it like, it's like coupon clipping the combat system, but like we'd have to like do this ahead of time.
Right, gotcha.
But I love this so much that we are going to retroactively, because I got to tell you, lowering this from a difficulty 3 to a 2. Hey, Kappa, what did you roll on the D20?
I rolled a 6.
Hey, guess what? He moves a little to the left, and like the Fonz punching like a fucking like, jukebox. And it's all at once. The give is so immediate, Bunk, that like you lose your focus from it, you lose your balance as you slam forward kind of into the hull as you flip the plating open. And there in front of you is the most powerful vehicular coralite engine core you have ever laid eyes on in person.
Bells, I forgot a backpack.
And that's where we are going to wrap up our first session of Brine Blight.
Woo! Woo! Thank you so much. Go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, when we pick up next week, it's going to be in the thick of it. So everybody get ready to leverage your abilities to try and escape an active, potentially increasingly militarized situation. So thanks, though. That was fun. Good job, everybody.
Woo!
Yes.
Oh my god.
Ending with Bahari and Vangaria still out of phase, just like going,
we're going to be in phase for a whole week.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's
It's like
the
being stuck
longest
in the
I've ever had anybody
transporter.
in phase before.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you for all the raids and all of the wonderful messages in chat. And thank you for supporting us on all the various platforms. This has been a very magical episode 1, and it really means so much to us that you were here with us. And for anyone who's watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for consuming this content. Both Trout and Adam have put in a lot of work in getting this ready. Yeah, all of the beautiful art that you see, all of the assets, the backgrounds, the title,
oh my
everything.
God.
Everything is by their hands. Just chef's kiss. Thank you so much for everything.
Dream team over there over at TricksyWizard House.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you, Stella, for everything you did to put it together for this stream. We wouldn't have known where to start, and you were just a miracle worker.
Oh my gosh.
We
make cool stuff together, guys. Everybody, all of you. We're gonna do some outros now. I'm gonna go around and ask each person to tell me who you are, where we can find you, and what your favorite part of the session was. And we will start off with Jay.
Hi, I'm Jay. You can find me at ThatJJustice on all the things. My favorite part was definitely the fight club that we that was amazing. Yeah. I was not expecting that. I'm sitting here like, where's my popcorn? I just want to watch this stream. This is that was so good. Every single voice Adam did was so good, but like I was not expecting in this corner. That was great.
Thank you so much. Next we have Rasubi Kappa.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christian. Better known as Kappa, most online spaces. The chat has the link to my Twitter, which is currently the best place to find all the stuff that I'm up to. Yeah, I'm so glad to be here and be part of this story. It's so good. Thank you for doing all of this, everyone, and allowing me to share in this space. I think my favorite part, honestly, the street urchins The street urchins just tickle my brain in this in the way that like you like the Muppets do, that like just it's so whimsical. And Adam, the voices just over the top in the best way possible.
And yes, I did reference some Muppet Christmas Carol like a lot for them.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Next we have Z.
Hi, I am Z or Zach. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/ZachDevs. I'm here every Tuesday inhabiting Calliope, and I look for me another TTRPG stuff at some point. My favorite part, we've already tread these waters, so to speak. The Fight Club was just so cool. The announcement, and like I love the way that you were narrating it, and then also Christian, you were narrating it. I'm a boxing fan. I've done boxing, and I'm just like, and also just like it was just so like rock and roll. I'm like, this is so cool. I love it, and everyone pulled together such a great performance. So, mwah.
Thank you. Next we have Trout.
Hi. My name is Trout. My partner is Adam. We are the duo behind TricksyWizard. We make comics, we make D&D and TTRPG art a lot. It's kind of our favorite thing, dipping our toes into streaming. Thank you all for having us. We're just loving this so much. Yeah, you can find us at TricksyWizard on all the socials or at TricksyWizard.com. My favorite part of the session, it is so hard to pick because all of you just put stars in my eyes, but I might have to give it to Rhoda's absolute glee at the statue blowing up. Rhoda is such an anarchist, and it's just so quiet because she's just trying to run this bar, but it's just, she's like an inch away from being a full revolutionary, and I adore her for it.
Excellent. Thank you. And Adam.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm the other half of TricksyWizard. And yes, Trout already listed all of the pies we have fingers in, but I'm just so grateful that I got to get this opportunity to run this game, and with this table of absolutely incredible players. Every single one of you brought so much character to bear in for a first session. The energy was just wild, although I do think that my favorite moment, and this isn't just because I'm the GM and I got to do an intrusion, but the way I do love the way that Jay, you brought like you were so your timing with the idea of like just, hey, you know what, you're in a bad way. You've got an armed like army official who's like staring you down. You're literally invisible. There's just something about also, yeah, like the way that everyone, when Berengaria is not around, talks about them is my favorite. Like just like, oh, she's so nice. I love that girl. Like just so
It's super sweet.
Yeah, we're really bringing to bear the kind descriptor.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that's my sentence is a kind speaker who controls beasts. I mechanically, as a kind speaker, have a thing where people are just nice to my character.
It was honestly really easy because I thought, what would my character do? And Bahari is just like, Berengaria is so nice. They're being mean to the nicest girl I've ever met.
No, perfect. I like it's because like the existing partially out of phase, I never see it coming, but it's always perfect and at the right moment. So it's great.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm still Luna. If you are watching, you are at my channel. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. If you'd like to support the channel, a free way you can do so is by following our Twitch and following our YouTube. That way you get notifications for when we go live and upload new VODs. You will find Brine and Blight every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern is our starting time. And my favorite part... Okay, I have two favorite parts. I loved the spicy lore drop with Bunk pulling a photo out of their back pocket. What's up with that? I can't wait to find out some more about that. That's really cool. And then the other part was basically like the little points here and there of Calliope and their personality and some of the strange things that's going on with them, and like the little tastes of your backstory with the eye flickering red. That was so fucking dope. I loved that so much.
Good.
I can't wait to see that backfire. That's gonna be so juicy. Can you tell I like drama? But that's going to be it for us tonight. Thank you so much for being here, and we hope to see you next week. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Oh wait, who are we raiding? Are we raiding anyone?
We are going to raid, hopefully, I want to raid Fabian because they are doing their... Yes.
Is it still going on?
I'm checking.
I think it's still going on.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, they are
Yes.
doing their premiere tonight too. Going Crit
I
RPG.
love that.
So please join me as we head over to Going Crit RPG. They are playing Vampire the Masquerade. Itaewon by Night is their first episode. It is vampires and Korea.
It's good.
It's so good.
It's so cool.
It's so good. Shit, I was gonna say something. Okay, we have to end on like a fish pun or something, like water pun.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Oh my god, no!